Good morning. Two short comments. First, I'm not so sure that I did all the long list of the activities that I've just read, and I'm sure that I cannot compete the accent of Mr. Shiraz, so you have to apologize. I have to apologize in advance. You know, it's always a challenge to decide what do you want to say in front of this audience in this very important conference. And I'm probably one of the few of the people who are speaking here that has a bit of responsibility. So I have to walk very carefully between the drops and make sure that I'm not doing mistakes. And I would like to share with you as much as I can, but unfortunately there are many things that I'm not able to share with you right now. I decided to share with you some of my thoughts under the title of Global War on Terrorism. The way I decided to do it is to share with you a fake document that does not exist, but let's assume that it exists, a report written by the head of the global jihad, the J3 of the global jihad. Let's assume that there is a person like that somewhere that has to prepare his staff or his troop for 2011. And as part of the process, he has to summarize what happened so far. And if we have had the chance to read this type of report, we may see some tables, some numbers, some figures, but I would like to move forward into the last page, which we can read the bottom line. As the head of the global jihad, I can tell to my people and to myself that we are doing pretty well. Looking into the map, almost everywhere there is a red dot, which means we succeed to launch a terror attack, and it doesn't matter if it succeeded or not. When we want to launch something in Africa, we can do it, as well as in Europe, as well as in the United States, in the Times Square, if you need an example. So from the operational point of view, we are able to launch a terror attack whenever we want, wherever we want. And this is a good point. The second thing is the media is in our side. They keep report about every small or big things which we are doing. When our leader, so-called leader, is launching an audio cassette, all the intelligence, all the institute are spending hours to try to understand if this is the guy and what he is saying and what is the meaning of his words. So the media is in our side, and if they do mistakes, we have our own media. We can use our own channels in order to spur our vision or our level of success. Looking into the budget issue, we thought that we may have a problem, but so far we have all our needs. If we need to buy something, there is always someone that will be happy to sell it for us. And it doesn't matter if it's AK-47 or ground-air small missiles that can shut down an aircraft. So even from the budget point of view, the situation is not so bad. I cannot even find even one event that we couldn't launch because we had lack of money. So again, this is a positive point related to our activities. There are a few areas which we have to improve our capabilities. For 2011, I will try to increase our capabilities dealing with cyber terrorism. We need to increase our capability and use it more often than we do it today. There is a debate inside our staff. Do we need the next September 11th? Do we need to launch a large attack which, once again, shake all the world? We probably finalize this issue very soon, and if the decision is that yes, we need it, we will be able to launch it. my personal assumption is that those global jihad leaders are looking for the next September 11th. It's not a question of if, it's a question of when and where, and which type of. And that's led me to the last point. We need to start dealing more deeply with the non-conventional capabilities. All those Western countries will be shocked. All those Western countries will be under strong fear when they have to deal with those non-conventional capabilities, mainly chemistry, maybe radiological and others. Yes, but we need to improve our capabilities. And the good news is that our friends have it, and all we have to do is to ask them to teach us, ask them to share some of their equipment or some of our their experience, and we will get it. So, to summarize the global jihad way of thinking about their position, I think that they are not happy, but when they look into the reality, as I've just described, they feel that they are in the right way. Obviously, and I've mentioned it, they have to improve some capabilities, they have to take some decisions, but generally speaking, looking into the map, looking into the summarize of the last, let's say 10 months, they succeed to launch enough terror attack all over the globe in order to say, yes, we are here and we can do almost whatever we need. Last but not least, we have enough volunteers to commit suicide. And if we decided to launch a large suicide bombers attack, which means that in one day, 100 people will commit suicide in 100 different places, we can do it. Hopefully, I'm not providing them now good ideas, but what I'm saying is that the capabilities, the motivation, the know-how is there. Now, there are a few questions. If this is the situation, why do they don't do it? And later on, I'll try to answer it. Now, I need to compare this situation into what we are doing. We, which mean those who can feel that they are under the title of Global War on Terrorism. I'm going to claim that under this title, we have less forces than we admit. I'm going to claim that under this title, we have less capabilities than we need. And it's a good title. We have nice achievement, but it's not enough. I'm using the terminology of toolbox. And I'm asking myself, what do I have in the toolbox? Do I have enough tools? Do I have enough sharp tools? And the answer is probably we need more, and I'll try to elaborate what is missing in this toolbox. First and foremost, and it's very difficult for me to say it because I consider myself as a very pragmatic guy, but I think that we don't have, and this is a problem, we don't have a common definition of what is all about when you are speaking about terrorism. I have the chance to sit with my colleagues in many states, and between us, we keep arguing about certain places on earth. Is this terrorism or something else? And when the definition is not clear enough, nations versus organizations or agencies are taking care differently on those type of events or phenomena. We don't have a common database. I consider it as a huge problem. And I know and I share the feeling that human rights is something very important, and we have to balance between human rights and our needs to have better tools in our toolbox. But we don't share database. We don't have international database on people who convert into type of radicalism. And it doesn't matter if it's a Muslim, Christianity, or someone from the Jewish nation. Generally speaking, we need to have kind of international database that every nation will provide their knowledge without burning sources, without even explanation. We don't have it today, mainly because some good reason under the title of human rights. I would like to give you an example that when the international community decided to deal with the phenomena, we know by heart how to share database. Let's take some example from the criminality world, pedophilia. When the world decided that this phenomena is not acceptable, immediately all the police, all the agencies decided to create kind of a common international database about people who are sick in this sickness in order to protect our people, in order to protect our kids. And in a way, we are too heavy in order to establish the same mechanism when you are speaking about people who become more and more radicals. Because we all know, and we have heard a few of the people keep saying that radicalism brings people into terrorism sometimes. My personal assumption is the tense between human rights and the right to live. We have all to give some priority to our right to live. And I'm not saying that we have to throw into the custody people who are chatting in those internet webs related to radicalism or others. What I'm saying that we have to be able to monitor them and to combine those activities with other pieces of information. And if there is a matching, then we have to open our eyes more than we are doing today. I've mentioned it before. I think that under the title of Global War on Terrorism, we have less troops than we admit. There are many partners who are partners in kind of conditions. Only that and only that. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. I will participate, but only with few people. The level of commitment is less than we are willing to admit. I think that from other perspective, and this is something that I'm sure with my colleagues all over the world, we need to develop more systematically systems. How to be able to prepare against scenarios that can implement terror attack. It's not enough to understand the threats. It's not enough to understand who is standing behind the threats. You have to analyze all day long, 24/7, which way the enemy can implement the threats, break it into a piece, and when you bring it together into one scenario, you have to find out in which part you can prevent it or do something in order to take high price from your enemy while he's trying to launch this type of attack. And from this perspective, I think that we should improve our capability. That was let's say, the empty half of the glass. But I should mention a few points that present the half glass that is full and full with good wine or good water. I think that we are very good in sharing lessons learned. Booby traps, which I had to deal when I was a battalion commander in Lebanon. The American troops had to deal in Iraq or the coalition in Afghanistan, and we are very good in sharing those lessons learned, some technology, some others good things in order to save life, which is very good. Sometimes not fast enough, but we are in the right way. I think that in all levels, leaders, agencies, in the operational level, we are all discussing many issues. Maybe it's not enough, but the level of discussions between nation, agencies, and others is pretty good. The question is what is the outcome from that, but I won't touch it right now. I think that we are very good developing weapon systems using very sophisticated technology. If you ask me, one of the missing parts in our toolbox is the non-lethal weapon. I think that we have to improve it. And again, human rights is something that prevents us from going further than we are doing today. This is something that as a field commander or as someone that wants to provide some solutions, it is missing in our toolbox. And I think that there is a good level of cooperation when we are dealing with financed terror. So this is the good news. I'm not saying that we do nothing and the global terrorism or the global jihad is doing whatever they want. There is a struggle, there is a competition, but in the bottom line, as far as I can say, there is a lot to do. Why it's very important for us, the Israelis? I'm sure that some of you asking yourself, why he has to speak about overseas? He has enough problem at home. He has enough problem in his own backyard. We all know today that the connections between the global jihad and some of the terrorism which we face in Israel connected very well. I don't want to get into a long list of examples, but it's well known that the Hamas, as well as Hezbollah, as well as global jihad cells inside Israel, in the territories, as well as in the Negev, are all feeds by the same phenomena. And it doesn't matter if they feel the same, it doesn't matter if they are sharing the same religious. From my point of view, as someone who has a bit of responsibility for the response, I don't care about it. I do care about the connections. I do care about the way the money flow. I do care about the way the ammunition flow. And again, it's not such a big secret. Hezbollah has today ammunition that nation in Europe does not have. And almost the same in the Hamas in Gaza Strip. That leads me into the point saying that the terror today, which we are dealing with, is a terror that has national capabilities. It is no longer three guys trying to build up a booby trap, a simple booby trap, and put it along the way, waiting to see if somebody is going to pass it. It's a terrorism supporting by nations who provide them those nation assets or nation capabilities, and therefore you can see today Hezbollah having UAVs. There are nations in Europe that don't have UAVs. Long-range missiles that can reach the range of 300 kilometers. That put me into a conclusion that if we want to fight terrorism efficiently, we need to do both. All day long to fight against the terror cell. But we need, as a global trend, to deal with the nation who host the terror and who provide the terror their tools. We need to do both. And I would like to give an example. You maybe blame me that I'm flaming the area. It's well known that in Syria there is an institute, the SAR Institute, that's working very hard to provide the Hamas and Hezbollah great toys. Toys which mean missiles and others. The international community has to send a signal, in that case to Syria, that in the next time when this institute will support terrorism, the answer will be demolish it, without using a very cut and clear message to those nations who support terror and actually provide the terror all the good things that I've mentioned at the beginning. It would be very, very difficult to provide our people better security. I'm the one who believes that terror will exist forever. There's no way to defeat terror down to the level of zero events. But we have responsibility to push the terror into a level which we can live with. Very similar to something that we consider as a level of criminality which we can live with. Nobody likes it, but we can live it. And right now, I think that this is not the case. I think that we, from the international point of view, we have to take some decisions that actually do better while we are fighting terror, and parallel to that, we have to pinpoint and make sure that all those states who support terror will be punished day by day, assuming that one day we will be able to push the level of terror down to a level which we can live with. Last but not least, when people ask me what will be the next challenge from the professional point of view for all of us, unfortunately, I'm raising once again the issue of non-conventional terror. I think that we all have to do much more in order to be prepared against this type of terror. And unfortunately, this is something that when he appeared into the field may be very problematic for all of us. Thank you very much.